Welcome to Mindzilla, the only podcast where your brain might actually get bigger or just melt entirely.
We're not liable for cranial leakage, by the way.
Speak for yourself. I'm Jess, Chaos Merchant and Tinfoil Hat Ambassador.
And I'm Luke, your skeptical co-pilot just trying to survive another week of Jess's conspiracy corner without blowing a neuron.
Every week on Mindzilla, we dive into juicy debates like Am I the Asshole? Spoiler alert, probably. And my true calling, Conspiracy Corner, where I lovingly melt Luke's brain with cults, cover-ups, and questions no one asked.
So many questions no one asked.
And if that's not enough madness for you, we've got shiny, sinister little Patreon you're gonna wanna join.
For just £3 a month, slap on your tinfoil hat and get access to our weekly Mythbusters-style deep dives debunking everything from brainwashing to Bigfoot.
And if you're ready to fully vibe with us, grab your Geiger counter tier for £6 a month. That gets you another extra, more personal episode every Wednesday, where we overshare wildly and let you in our intimate little mental circus.
We're talking weird dreams, life stuff, and Jess's unfiltered theories that didn't make it to pass Spotify's legal team.
It was one lizard queen joke too far.
Follow us on social media, subscribe to the pod, and listen free every week on Spotify or YouTube. Audio only because
Our faces are classified.
too hot for the algorithm.
This is Mindzilla. Feed your brain, question everything, and remember,
They don't want you to listen to this.
hello everyone.
Hello.
Before we get on to our Am I the Asshole, I would like to disclose that from today we're going to go back to our previous structure of the episodes. So we are getting our whole protocol and brain gain. They will be added to either the Patreon occasionally, but it's not going to be a weekly thing anymore due to some people in the audience not really liking it. So we're going to concentrate the Mindzilla on just the Am I the Asshole and the Conspiracy Corner, because it seems that is what people like us to do. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna get into it. Am I the asshole for taking my daughter somewhere when my husband and sons went on a boys' trip? I, 43 female, have triplets, Mark, Liam, and Abby, 14, with my husband Josh, 45 male. Last Friday, Josh decided to bring Mark and Liam on a spontaneous trip to Six Flags. I don't like amusement parks, so I wasn't bothered by not being invited. Abby asked to go as well, but Mark and Liam said it was a boys' trip and that she would ruin the vibe. Abby was upset because she felt left out and felt bad for her, so I decided we'd have a day out. On Saturday, we went to Cheesecake Factory, our favorite restaurant, a local spa, and I let her have a mini shopping spree at the mall that only came to about $150. I paid for it all since I got FT bonus and I didn't know what else to spend it on. She felt better after, and we even had a heartfelt mother-daughter moment at Build-A-Bear where we made each other bears. We also had brunch on Sunday, although it wasn't very costly. The boys came back home last night, and Abby was excited to tell Josh all about what we did over the weekend. He got mad and confronted me about it, saying I shouldn't have done that. I asked why. He refused to let Abby go in the first place, and he said it was a boys' trip. and that I shouldn't get used to special treatment for not being involved in anything. I asked why it bothered him so much, since I know he'd do it for our sons, but he won't tell me why it bothers him so much. He ended up even trying to take her bear, but I wouldn't let him. He's being cold to me, Abby now, me and Abby now, and I'm at a loss. Am I the asshole?
No. What's wrong with him? He has a girl, he's got to be incorporating her into everything, and he just got boys.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit of an idiot.
I understand, like, wanting to do a boys' trip, but
Let's do something for the girl.
yeah, exactly.
Not just the boys. You got to include her into something.
Yeah. Or they have a boys.
And mum goes out for a girl's time.
Exactly.
That's kind of how it should work, not
Special treatment.
special treatment. It's not special treatment. You gave the boy special treatment. You're excluding your own daughter from activities.
Yeah, they went to Six Flags. They probably spent like
Thousands of pounds.
yeah, exactly. And he is mad that she spent 150 on the daughter.
And she got a bear.
Yeah.
Did work.
He wanted to take the bear away.
Sounds like he needs to grow the hell up and be an actual man, not a little baby. He just wants bros, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Any updates?
There isn't. It's only 19 hours old, so there isn't any. Trying to see a relevant commentary to say everyone is just like outraged about him.
Yeah. You can't exclude your daughter. 3 kids. You include all 3 of them in that activity. Like me and my sisters, 2 sisters and me. My dad would take me on something. My mum would take my sisters on something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not excluded from anything.
No.
That's an actual human response to it is you allow, if you want to go take your boys, then the mum goes takes the daughter out. Not his stupid logic of saying that she has special treatment. She doesn't. She's including her daughter that he seemingly forgets is his. Just say to him he needs to have some sense knocked into him and actually understand that you need to include your daughter, and if you can't include your daughter, then you shouldn't be doing anything with the kids,
Yeah.
the boys. If you can't include the daughter, don't do anything with the boys.
Yeah.
Sounds
And
horrible.
Six Flags is not a boys thing either.
No, it's everyone's. Not that's him saying, oh, it's just a boys' activity at Six Flags. No.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just he probably wanted just boys in his relationship, and the daughter came out and he didn't want the daughter. That's what it more sounds like.
I have no idea
If
what.
that's the case, he literally does need his head kicking in. Grow up and be a man and take care of all your family.
Apparently she's been commenting, but I can't see it. And there is a woman here, a woman, I think is a woman, that commented, said, you said in another comment that it's not the first time something like this has happened. There have been, and the quote is, there have been times before where you take the boys somewhere extravagant and take Abby somewhere less than exciting after. Like taking our sons camping for the weekend and taking Abby to tennis to make it up to. But she always seems to appreciate it, so I thought it put thought into it. Now I'm wondering if she was an afterthought to him. It sounds like a pattern.
It is a pattern. She is an afterthought.
Yeah.
I said he probably one of those people that only wanted sons, so it excludes his daughter from everything.
I just can't get over you trying to get the bear, though.
No.
Take the bear away.
He's trying to show dominance when he isn't dominant. To be a dominant man, you look after your whole family.
Yeah.
It just sounds to me like one of those people that will literally exclude his daughter from everything and then blame the wife for everything else that goes on with the daughter. The daughter misbehaves. It's the wife's fault. She didn't treat him properly. When actually it's this idiot father who don't actually have any brain cells to understand that all kids should be included in everything, not just taking the son out.
So sad, really. But
Sad, but at least the mum knows it's happening now. If she can't get it under control, just
He needs therapy.
puts her foot.
Something's
He
wrong
needs
with that.
therapy, but she needs to put her foot down, saying, "Well, if you ain't gonna take your daughter, you ain't taking your sons."
Yeah.
And it needs to be that kind of harsh thing. Well, if you can't include your daughter, your sons don't go anywhere.
I don't know.
Okay. All right, let's carry on.
Yeah, I wanna see update saying I divorced his ass or
Yeah.
we went to therapy and sorted it out. There's something wrong with him.
Yeah. All right, let's carry on.
Yep. Okay, real quick. Did Nelson Mandela die in prison in the 80s?
No, he became president of South Africa. That's like a known fact.
Right. But millions of people, like millions, distinctly remember seeing his funeral on TV. Like full-on procession, speeches, mourning. They'd bet their last brain cell on it.
Well, that explains the collective decline in trivia game performance.
This is the Mandela effect. Coined by paranormal researcher Fiona Broom, shout out to the girlies with vlogs from 2009, after she realized she and others remembered Mandela dying way before he actually did.
Wait, she thought he died, but instead he just lived a whole other life, won a Nobel Peace Prize, and became president. Small miss.
Massive whiff. But here's where it gets wild. This wasn't just a one-off. People started chiming in with other collective false memories. For example, you have the Bernstein or Bernstein bears. Darth Vader never actually says, "Look, I am your father." There was never a cornucopia on Fruit of the Loom logo. C-3PO has a silver leg. Febreze has only one E. And apparently, we all just imagined a 90s movie where Sinbad played a genie called Shazam.
Okay, I swear, I saw Shazam. I remember the VHS cover, Sinbad in a turban. It happened. Don't gaslight me.
See? That's exactly the vibe. It's like we're living in a world's weirdest group therapy session for fake memories. And nobody's really sure if it's bad memory, mass hysteria, or, a tear in a fabric of reality. Let's rewind to where this whole thing started, because like all good apocalyptic events, it begins with a white woman at a paranormal convention.
Of course it does.
Meet Fiona Broom, ghost hunter, paranormal researcher, and the woman who coined the term Mandela effect. Around 2009, she was at Dragon Con, a big old nerd convention, chatting about how she clearly remembered Nelson Mandela dying in South African prison in the 1980s.
Which he didn't. He got out, won a Nobel Peace Prize, became president, had a whole life.
Right. But Fiona was like, no, I remember the funeral. I remember the news coverage. And then, plot twist, so did a ton of other people.
So either way, they were all experiencing a shared memory anomaly.
Or we slipped into a parallel universe and nobody told us because we're not on the Illuminati mailing list.
Again, still waiting on the newsletter.
So, who is Fiona Broom, really? She's not a scientist or a neurologist. She's a paranormal researcher. She spent decades exploring haunted sites, writing about ghosts, time slips, alternate realities, and psychic phenomena. She started the MandelaEffect.com website to collect shared false memories from people around the world. What began as a blog exploded into an archive of mind-bending memories mismatches. It's like Wikipedia, but every article is written by your cousin who saw a UFO once and never got over it.
Honestly, more trustworthy than most news outlets.
Let's get into Fiona's philosophy. Fiona's theory isn't that we're just misremembering things. She believes we might be shifting between parallel timelines. She compares it to walking into a room and realizing something feels just a little off. She believes memory glitches equals multiverse evidence. Consistent collective false memories equals timeline merging. And yes, she's aware it sounds bananas, but insists the consistency across millions of people memories is too weird to ignore. So shout out to Fiona Broom, the original glitch witch, the cosmic librarian, the woman who turned wait, didn't used to be into a global phenomenon.
And if you're listening to this thinking, I remember it differently, congrats, you're part of the experiment now. Or a tear in our collective attention spans, but sure, let's blame CERN.
We'll get to CERN. But first, we're gonna talk about what's really going on inside our brains when everyone misremembers the same thing. Is it a glitch in the matrix? Or are we just dumb? The science and the horror. So, turns out we might not be dimension hopping. We're just victims of the worst roommate of all time, our own memory.
And shocking that the same brain that forgot where I parked yesterday might not be the most reliable historical archive.
Seriously, let's break it down. The Mandela effect, at its core, is often explained by false memory, a psychological phenomenon where people recall something that didn't happen or remember it differently than it actually occurred.
Or, as I call it, every conversation I've ever had with my mum about childhood events.
And it's not just individuals. This becomes the Mandela effect when large groups of misremembered the same thing. Now, why does it happen? There are a few key psychological players here. First up, confabulation. This isn't lying. Is when your brain fills in gaps in your memory with details it thinks it should be there.
Like improv, but for trauma.
Exactly. You're not being deceitful, you're just confidently incorrect. Like remembering the Monopoly man with the monocle because you associate him with the Planters peanut guy.
The Monocle Mafia, very influential in my childhood.
Then there is schema theory. Your brain uses mental templates, schemas, to interpret the world. They help you process information fast, but they also lead to assumptions, like thinking Pikachu has a black tipped tail because other cartoons mice do. Your brain completes the image based on the schema.
So our brains are like lazy interns. Close enough.
They're efficient, Luke, not lazy, just sometimes drunk on their own pattern recognition skills. Now, this one is spicy. The misinformation effect shows that your memory can be altered by exposure to misleading info after the fact. Classic Elizabeth Loftus stuff. Like if you read a Reddit thread confidently describing the Sinbad Genie movie, you might start to remember it yourself.
Reddit, your one-stop shop for fake memories, conspiracy theories, and weird foot pics.
Studies show even wording changes can warp memory. If you're asked how fast was the car going when it smashed into the other car versus when it bumped it, you'll give a much higher speed estimate in the first case.
Words matter, which explains why I can't go back to that Taco Bell.
Another biggie, source monitoring errors. This is when you forget where the memory came from. Did you actually see the fruit of the loom cornucopia? Or just imagine it based on ads?
Or did your older cousin tell you and you just absorbed it like a memory sponge?
Exactly. Over time, the source fades, but the memory sticks, and boom, your team definitely had a monocle. Here's the kicker though. Memory is social. When people around you confirm a false memory, it becomes more real to your brain. It's like psychological peer pressure, and we all seen how TikTok runs with this. Someone posts a Mandela effect, people freak out in the comments, and the illusion snowballs.
So basically, the more people believe it, truer it feels.
Yep. Mass misremembering reinforced by social platforms is like gaslighting, but make it crowdsourced.
So to summarize, our brains are improv artists, lazy cataloguers, easily manipulated and constantly rewriting the past.
Honestly, yes. Neuroscientists believe memories weren't stored like files on a computer. They're reconstructed every time we recall them. Like clay, we keep reshaping, and each time we do, we risk altering the original.
So my brain's been playing telephone with itself for 30 years.
Yep, and now it thinks Sinbad made a genie movie.
Okay, but serious question. If I remember something strongly, even if it never happened, isn't that my truth?
Now you're getting existential. This is where psychology and metaphysics start flirting. And some people, Mandela effect truthers, say, hey, maybe it's not bad memory. Maybe we're remembering things from another timeline.
Yeah. Or maybe you just read too much Tumblr in 2012.
Either way, it gets juicy because the more we dig into how bad human memory actually is, the more tempting it becomes to believe that something else is going on.
Like glitching timelines or someone rebooting the simulation.
We're diving into those theories now. Buckle up. It's gonna get cerny. Okay, so we've established that science says our brains are sloppy meat puppets. But what if that's the cover story? What if there's something bigger behind the Mandela effect?
So we're leaving psychology and entering paranoia.
Exactly. No memory is safe. No timeline is sacred. We're through the looking glass now. Let's start with the reigning champ of Mandela conspiracies, CERN. You know, the people with the large Hadron Collider, the machine that smashed particles together at near light speed to discover Higgs boson, aka the God particle.
You mean the thing that sounds like it should have come with a warning label and a ritual circle?
Pretty much. So here's the theory. In 2012, CERN discovered the Higgs boson, and it doing so accidentally ripped a hole in our universe, or destroyed our reality entirely.
Casual.
And from that point on, the timeline fractured. We slid into a parallel dimension where subtle differences started showing up, like logos changing, movie lines shifting, and historical events tweaking ever so slightly.
So the idea is we all died and now we're in a budget reboot of Earth.
Exactly. This is the we're in universe B now theory. And some truthers believe the original pristine timeline, let's call it Herd Prime, ceased to exist when CERN got a little too sciencey horny. Now, another crowd thinks it's not about timelines, it's about code. We're living in a simulation, and the Mandela effect is just evidence of glitches or retroactive updates. I'm not gonna lie, every day I think more that this one is real.
So like The Sims, but instead of removing pull ladders, the programmers are tweaking the cereal brands.
Exactly. Think of it as patch notes for reality. They change something minor, like the spelling of Febreze, and the code gets messy. Most people didn't notice, but some do, and that's a Mandela effect.
So we're the NPCs who read the changelog.
Yes, Elon Musk, problematic fave, has said there's a 1 in billions chance we aren't living in a simulation. So this theory has also big tech pro backing. Now, let's talk D-Wave. No dance move. It's a quantum computer company that, according to some conspiracy theorists, is messing with reality.
Because regular computers weren't scary enough.
Quantum computers operate on qubits, not binary. which means they exist in multiple states at once. Think Schrodinger's cat on Adderall. Some theorists believe these machines tap into alternate dimensions to solve problems.
So, interdimensional Google.
Kind of. The idea is that every time these machines run, they access or even bleed into parallel realities, causing subtle shifts in our own. Mandela effects are seen as the fallout.
Nothing says scientific achievement like possibly merging timelines without telling anyone.
Okay, now we're diving deep into the esoteric woo. Strap in.
Do I need a tinfoil hat for this part?
Ideally, yes. Some claim the Mandela effect is a result of elite occult rituals, specifically linked into Saturn worship. In esoteric circles, Saturn represents time, control, and reality structure. Think of it as the cosmic administrator.
So, like Kronos, Father Time, but in a bathrobe and chanting.
Pretty much. This theory ties CERN, Saturn, and ancient rituals together, suggesting that these timeline shifts are just the result of dark rituals aimed at resetting and rewriting history to serve elite agendas.
So, this is the Illuminati, but with better robes and worse intentions.
Exactly. Theorists point to Sun's statue of Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction, right outside the facility. They say it's symbolic that Sun is destroying and rebuilding reality through ritual science. Another angle? Time travel. The theory here is that someone's tampering with the past, and the Mandela effects are ripple effects. Small inconsistencies caused by someone stepping on a butterfly in 1985.
So, like Back to the Future, but instead of Marty and McFly fading out of a photo, Fruit Loops changes spelling.
Exactly. Every change in the past causes tiny echoes, residual memory fragments that some people still remember because their consciousness is more attuned.
Right. Mandela chosen ones.
And some believe the US government, through black ops like Project Pegasus, developed time travel in the 70s and has been messing with the timeline for decades.
So instead of fixing wars or stopping pandemics, they're just screwing with logo fonts.
Apparently, it's the pettiest possible use of time travel for, hey, that's bureaucracy. Last but not least, the revelation of the methods. This is the idea that the elites are showing us the truth in plain sight through the Mandela effect to gradually condition us.
Condition us for what?
For the next step, whether it's full simulation disclosure, alien contact, or transcending to the fifth dimension, the Mandela effect is seen as a slow drip disclosure, like poking holes in a fabric of illusion until we collectively wake up.
So we're in a cosmic escape room and the cereal aisle is the first clue.
Yes, that's the vibe anyway. And the only way out is to notice. So if you do remember something that no one else does, what if you are right and everyone else is wrong? Is that a glitch in your memory or proof that you're still tethered to the whole world?
Or maybe we all just need better sleep and less TikTok.
Let's explore that possibility, where we look at how media, culture, internet virality feeds the Mandela beast. Alright, so if it's not dark rituals or time traveling serial execs, maybe, just maybe, this is all the fault of the internet. Yes, let's talk about how our digital hive mind is turning memory into a group project with no adult supervision. Number one, the internet as a memory amplifier. The Mandela effect didn't go mainstream in the 90s when people noticed the Bernstein versus Bernstein. It exploded online, especially around Reddit, Tumblr, YouTube, and TikTok. These platforms don't just share ideas, they amplify shared misremembering.
So the internet is like a psychic megaphone for confusion.
Exactly. You think you misremembered something alone, post about it, and 10,000 people say they remember the same thing. Suddenly, it's not you, it's reality that's suspect.
It's memory meets mob mentality with memes.
Yeah. The Mandela effect thrives on confirmation bias, and online spaces act like echo chambers. Once one person says, I swear it used to be Looney Tunes, others will join in. Even if they didn't think that before, they start to question everything. Number two, memes as reality anchors. Memes are modern folklore. They're compressed memory packages, repeated and shared until they become canon. A meme about a movie quote can override the actual quote.
You're saying memes are like those fish that replace your brain in Rick and Morty.
Yes, once you see a meme that says, Look, I am your father, it feels true, even though the line is actually, No, I am your father. The meme becomes the new memory.
So internet culture is the Mandela effect, fueling false memories and spreading them like brain glitter.
Exactly. Especially when people don't rewatch the actual thing. They just reshare the meme. That's how the illusion gets cemented. Number three, TV reboots and retcon madness. Here's the kicker. Pop culture is now a memory minefield. Think about how many movies get remakes, reboots, re-edits, or director's cuts. So even if you're technically wrong about the scene or line, chances are it's been said or done somewhere.
Like how Shazam with Sinbad doesn't exist, but Sinbad did wear genie-like costumes on kids' TV.
Right. Or people misremember the Sex and the City title as Sex in the City, but merch parodies and even casual speak often get it wrong. Culture itself blurs the lines.
It's like our memories are constantly being gaslit by entertainment.
Yeah. And throw in AI generated clips, deepfakes, and fun edits, and we're in post truth media soup. Number four, the role of influencers and reality gurus. Enter the Mandela influenza. These are TikTokers and YouTubers who swear they found evidence of timeline shifts. They'll post a video showing two versions of a brand logo or a line from a movie and let the internet decide which one is real.
It's like choose your own adventure, but for objective facts.
Right. And the algorithm rewards controversy, not accuracy. The wilder your Mandela take, the more it spreads. Evidence is often photoshopped, misquoted, or taken out of context. But it feels true, and that's enough.
So TikTok just weaponized deja vu.
Exactly. And once you see the wrong version, it gets stuck. Your brain logs it as valid data, and now you're part of the confusion spiral. Number five, we have mass memory events, like false memories go viral. Some researchers call this viral false memory events. It's a new frontier in psychology where collective belief creates a memory trend. Once it gains traction, it doesn't matter if it's real. What matters is that it feels real to enough people.
So, mass hysteria, but make it digital.
Yeah, there are parallels with phenomena like satanic panic, recovered memories, and even moral panics. But this time it's about fonts and fruit snacks.
We went from witch trials to debating Pikachu's tail color.
It's evolution, baby! Number 6, we have our brain just can't handle the internet.
So, bottom line, the internet combined with our squishy human brains is basically the perfect storm for Mandela effect.
Totally. We're dealing with information overload, low attention spans, algorithmic manipulation, and collective loneliness. It's easier to believe you're sliding through dimensions than admit you've misremembered the spelling of Oscar Mayer.
Because that would be embarrassing.
And because the idea that we're uncovering secret glitches in reality gives us power. It turns a mundane memory slip into a cosmic detective story. So maybe the Mandela effect isn't proof of alternate realities or quantum bleeding. Maybe it's just a reminder that our minds are collaborative fiction factories, and the internet is one big shared hallucination.
And we're all editors in the worst Wikipedia page ever.
Exactly. This episode of Mindzilla is brought to you by Mandela Meds, the only over-the-counter solution for chronically incorrect memory syndrome.
Tired of confidently misquoting movie lines at parties?
Do you remember a Shazam movie starring Sinbad that literally no one else can find?
Do you scream when someone tells you Pikachu never had a black tip tail?
Then you need Mandela Meds. Now with extra-dimensional realignment and a dash of collective gaslighting resistance.
Just take 2 before doom scrolling Reddit at 2 a.m. and you'll wake up believing everything is fine, even the spelling of sketches.
Side effects may include sudden trust in big fruit snacks, believing in only one timeline, emotional whiplash from realizing C-3PO had a silver leg, and mild existential dread.
Ask your doctor if Mandela Meds is right for you, or don't. You probably remember them saying yes.
Mandela Meds, because memory is just a suggestion. Now, there is a wild corner of Reddit that believes Mandela effects are caused by time-traveling elites who go back to correct details in history that weren't supposed to be remembered. Think of it like historical brand management.
So someone went back and erased the Fruit of the Loom cornucopia because...
Too many people remembered it, and it threatened the timeline, obviously. It's a cognitive security breach. Then there is the belief that particle accelerators like CERN are smashing realities together and creating quantum memory cross-contamination. That means you might literally have memories from a parallel self bleeding into your current consciousness.
So that's why I remember Jif and Jiffy, I'm literally both Lukes.
Exactly. You're a multiversal snack anomaly. Then some theorists think companies secretly rebrand and pretend it was always that way, gaslighting the public to avoid copyright lawsuits and rebrand backlash. Why admit you changed the spelling when you can just say we're crazy?
Honestly, that sounds exactly like something Big Cereal would do.
And then, according to some New Age theorists, the Mandela effect is proof that we are spiritually ascending to a higher dimensional frequency, and our memories are lagging behind the old operational systems. We updated our souls, but not our RAM.
So reality is glitching because our chakras didn't hit reset.
Exactly. Please unplug and plug yourself back in. So, what have we learned today? Memory is fallible. Reality is flexible. Pikachu's tail is in witness's protection. And we all been dimension hopping without a passport.
We started with, was it Bernstein or Bernstein? And now we're here, accusing particle accelerators of gaslighting the human race.
Because here is the thing, Luke. Too many people remember the same wrong things. That's not just memory, that's a pattern. That's evidence.
Honestly, I'm starting to think I was never really born in this timeline.
You weren't. You're the backup Luke from Timeline 7B. The one where Oreos were called Hydrox and Mr. Rogers never wore pants.
Wait, what?
Truth is out there, Luke. It's just been slightly rebranded and moved into the shelf next to Febreze with one E.
Okay, but real talk, if we disappear out of this episode, just know it's because we got too close.
Too close to the Mandela veil.
I'm leaving a note that says Looney Tunes was right.
And I'll sign it with love from Shazam, starring Sinbad, because that movie existed. If you enjoyed this memory-melting episode of Mindzilla, don't forget to subscribe, share it with your multiversal selves, and leave us a 5-star review in all timelines.
And if your memories don't match up with reality, don't panic. Just blame CERN or Luke from Universe C.
Next week on Mindzilla, we're diving into Project Looking Glass, a CIA-approved psychic time machine allegedly. You're gonna love it.
Unless you already remember that episode airing last year, in which case, welcome back.
Bye.
Bye.